Sorry, there's been a bit of a gap between the last time there was a podcast released and now. I really hope to change that. We really want this to be something that's valuable for you as the listener in terms of what you can take and actionably apply to your life. And so we're back. I debated for so long as to whether or not I would do this podcast. Not the podcast in general, but this episode in particular, because I want to more or less lay out some of my own vulnerabilities, if you will. There's this interesting notion, I think, in the field of health and wellness, but especially in mental health, that the individual, based on their specialty, should kind of have it all together within the context of their own specialty. And maybe there's partial truth to that, but there's also a lot of things that are outside of our understanding when it comes to these areas. It's something I heard before, and I thought that this was really insightful, and it stuck with me, was this notion that we don't expect an oncologist never to get cancer. So why would we never experience, or never expect, I should say, a psychologist, mental health practitioner, a therapist to never experience emotional or mental health issues? To think that, I think, is a huge fallacy. So I'm here today to open up and be vulnerable about all things my own emotional health and mental wellness. Even as a psychologist, as the co-founder and chief scientific officer of Hanu, I want you to understand that I experience these things. I have access to basically all the tools in the world, including Hanu, but sometimes I don't take advantage of them. It's a very topic that's near and dear to my heart, and I just felt compelled to share with you my own personal struggles and then tell you what I'm doing about it and what's helpful for me, with the intention of nothing other than letting you know that you're not alone in this and that emotional and mental health are really important. Why do I feel the need right now to do it? Well, I feel the need right now because I have been experiencing difficulty and dysregulation with things related to stress, anxiety, and sadness over the course of the last 6 months. Part of it is just naturally what occurs in the startup world, but I would say that a lot of it also was self-imposed, and a lot of it was because I wasn't tuning in to my level of self-awareness and self-regulation, two tools that I teach here at Hanu. But I would say that for me, I did not come to the true realization of how much I was struggling until recently. And now I've kind of turned those knobs of self-awareness and self-regulation back on and kind of facing or accepting kind of my experience, because I know that avoidance of that experience is only going to cause detriment and harm. So I'm coming to you to share with you what I did and what I'm doing, what I will hope to continue to do in my own mental and emotional health journey. And if you're someone who is on this journey, which you are because you're human, you have a heartbeat, you have a brain, you inevitably are going to experience periods of chronic stress, anxiety, depression, God forbid things like traumatic experiences, or even severe and persistent mental health. All of these things are a part of life experience, especially stress, anxiety, and depression. But what do we actually do about it? What can we implement that will truly move the needle? Do things like breath work and mindfulness meditation and HRV biofeedback, are they helpful? Yeah, they are. They're amazing tools. Will each of them individually cure mental illness? I'm not so sure I believe in that. I came to basically the realization in the last few months that a lot of my stress and anxiety and times of sadness was being driven by guilt and shame and feeling like I was a bit of, I guess more or less you could say, a hypocrite. Because I'm a psychologist, right? I should have everything all together. People expect me to treat them for stress and anxiety and depression and other mental and emotional health problems. I came to this fork in the road where I said to myself, am I going to be a hypocrite anymore? Because I'm not practicing what I preach from a mental health standpoint. And I know that it's really hard for me to be objective sometimes. And I need the input from others. And so I'm here because I'm taking back my mental health wellness. I'm taking back my emotional health. I'm learning how to regulate my emotional experience in a proper way without pushing it aside, compartmentalizing and avoiding, which is something that can come quite naturally to me, and I can reinforce it really easily.